We have Marcia Clark, O.J. Simpson prosecutor, and of course, author of the amazing book, Guilt. Tell me your title again.
Guilt by Association.
Guilt by Association. There you have it. And we're going to put it up in a second because you've got to read this book. And also Howard Samuels, founder and CEO of the Hills Treatment Center. Howard, you and I have talked about addiction a lot. I can understand why Jermaine's upset. Nobody is trying to besmirch Michael, but that is a big issue in this case, is it not?
Oh, I mean, Jane, come on, 1 and 1 is 2. I mean, everything that was found at his home when they came in, I mean, please, the Demerol, the Valium, the Xanax, I mean, I could go on forever. It was a drug addict's dream. He was living a drug addict's dream. And that is what is so sad about this, is that this doctor really failed his responsibilities and really, you know, added to this drug addict's problem and killed him.
Now, how is the defense going to deal with this audio of Michael Jackson under the influence? Remember, it was the prosecution that played this audio tape of Michael Jackson slurring his words. Well, I asked that question to Dr. Conrad Murray's attorney as he walked into court, and this is what he told me exclusively. Listen to this. Were you shocked by the audio tape that the prosecution played? Were you shocked at all by that tape?
No, that's what happens when Murray's not there to treat him.
All right, Marcia Clark, former prosecutor, a lot of people have said that this cuts both ways, that playing this audio tape of Michael Jackson slurring his words might actually play into the defense hands. What do you think?
No, I do not think so. I think showing this audio tape, first of all, playing that audio tape is a very powerful, compelling illustration of exactly the state Michael Jackson was in. And a doctor treats the patient he gets, not the patient he wishes he had. And that was the state Michael Jackson was in. Conrad Murray was required to treat that person who could be that stoned, that out of it, and understand that there's a weakness here. There's something to take care of. He had to be protected from himself. And Conrad Murray obviously did not do that. In a situation like this, you have a doctor who essentially becomes a pusher. And he's ordering all this propofol. He has a patient that he knows is addicted, you know, and is clearly doing a lot of drugs, whether you call him an addict or not. And that's the patient that he had to be treating, and he wasn't.
Now, here's something interesting. Michael Jackson actually wrote a song about Demerol. We found it on YouTube, so listen to this. Samuels, Michael Jackson wrote a song about Demerol. Now, you have the defense claiming that he went to Dr. Arnie Klein's and got Demerol. We just had Dr. Arnie Klein's attorney on saying, and very eloquently, I think, hey, don't blame us. The DA looked at all this evidence and decided to charge Dr. Conrad Murray. I still think this all goes back to Dr. Conrad Murray's responsibility. We're in no way blaming Michael Jackson for his own death. What we're saying is that there are certain things a doctor should do when he's dealing with a person who, one Google search shows, has a history of drug issues.
Right.
What are those things?
Well, you have to understand is that I think both doctors have a responsibility.
But let's talk about Dr. Conrad Murray because he's the one on trial here.
Okay. Well, first of all, he failed his responsibility. I mean, he's supposed to be a doctor, but what he's turned into is a drug dealer. Okay? And, you know, and this is what has happened in LA and I think in New York and a lot of the other cities is that you get these rich and famous who are being able to buy these doctors for $30,000 to $100,000 a month, and they really become the drug dealers. They come to the person's house, they deal whatever they give, and these doctors get seduced by the appeal of being around people like this, just like Conrad Murray did. He got seduced and he crossed the line.
Hey, I've been trying to get a doctor to come to my house to do a house call since I was a kid, and it's never happened. So you're right.
$30,000?
I agree.
Probably.
If I had $30,000 to throw around, maybe, or $150,000 a month, as in the case of Dr. Conrad Murray. I asked HLN's Nancy Grace about this defense claim that Dr. Klein got Michael Jackson hooked on Demerol. Here's what Nancy had to say.
Who cares? Who cares who got him hooked? It doesn't matter. What matters today, what matters this week, what matters now is who is responsible for the death of Michael Jackson, not who gave him his first Demerol. I want to know who put that needle in his arm and let him die. Who let him die in a bed of his own urine?
Do you agree? agree, Marcia Clark?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I don't care. Arnie Klein gave him drugs. I mean, these are things that probably Dr. Conrad Murray should know in terms of being able to treat his patient accurately. But who got him hooked? It doesn't matter. Legally speaking, does not matter.
I have to say, I have covered you for decades, and I am so delighted to be able to meet you in person because obviously I covered the O.J. Simpson trial, and I watched you day in and day out, and I'm a huge fan. And I know you have a book. I know we got the book cover. We're going to show it in a second. And that's Guilt by Association. We're getting there. And that way we get to mention it 3 and 4 times. But it must be bizarre, Marcia, coming back to the same exact courthouse behind us where you prosecuted the O.J. Simpson case. It must be weird.
It is weird. It's really weird. I mean, I'm looking back there. It was home sweet home for many years until that last trial.
Yeah, but does it feel like deja vu all over again, as they say?
Yeah, a little bit. But it's weird to be looking at it from this perspective instead of being inside it, I have to say.
Yeah.
So that's what it looks like from back here.
Yeah, exactly. You're not in that, but I like to say we've all been in the vortex of that courthouse for decades. Now, like the O.J. case, there's a lot of protesters outside. One of the most vocal people I met outside court was not a Michael Jackson fan, but actually a supporter of Conrad Murray's. Listen to him go. The scene outside court, very, very dramatic scene. And you've also got people who are in support of Dr. Conrad Murray as well. And there's a sign right there that says, I support Dr. Conrad Murray. Why are you here?
Michael did this to himself. Michael had drug people in that house. Dr. Murray tried to help him. Dr. Murray did not kill him, all right?
All right, just like the O.J. Simpson case, you have a lot of drama and fiery debates going on outside. So this is definitely like old home week for Marcia Clark here on set, kind of reliving the same kind of dynamics. And once again, her book is Guilt by Association. You've got to read it. I know I'm reading it while I'm here in Los Angeles covering this trial. All right, thank you so much, Marcia. And Howard, please join us. Come back.